right, here we go. Hey guys, it's El Benet here with my bro Mike C.
What's up? What's up, everybody?
We're back on Inner Cosmetics. And you know how we do, we just dive right into everything, right?
Oh, got to. That's the only way we do it. It's the only way it can happen.
So already we're up to episode 7. Things are always working out for you, even when they aren't.
Here comes the cops. I'm gonna get now.
You got me when you had posed this topic
Yeah.
because when you were like, things are always working out for you, I'm like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then you added, even when they aren't. And that definitely gave me pause. And that made me reflect on scenarios in my life, like going through a divorce,
Yes.
when it appears that they aren't working out for you in that moment. And then in the aftermath, you see how they did.
Yes. Yes. We just want to see the end before we see the middle. It's like, all right, tell me what happens at the end, and then I'll watch what happens in the middle because I know it doesn't happen like that. But sometimes we wish it would. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly. It's like we are, and I can kind of feel and see it happen now that we become aware of things as they manifest, is it ultimately led me to where I wanted to be. But I
Right.
got caught up, and sometimes we just get caught up when it doesn't transpire in the manner in which we envisioned it to actually happen.
Which actually, oh, how many times does it actually happen the way we envision it would happen? We have this scene of grandeur where everything just works out from smoothly from beginning to end, which it actually is, and this is why we're talking about this,
Mm-hmm.
where
Mm-hmm.
things are always working out for you, because it's still working out for you in the most perfect way. It's
Yes.
just not happening out in the way we envision. And here we go again with that word ego, which is a whole nother topic, because we have this way we would like it to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But if
And
you
that's
think about how often things work out and just didn't happen out the way you wanted it to, but in the end you were standing there with whatever you desired. And if you actually reverse engineer or replay what happened, you're like, well, if I were to play out with the way I thought it was going to happen, it was never the way I thought it was. You see what I'm saying with that?
I do. I get it. And even listening to you relay how it plays out, we have a tendency to forget how it happened, because when it
Yeah.
does and when it shows up, it's like, oh, yeah, you just keep going about your business. And we don't stop and realize that, wow, through all that, we call it quote unquote turbulence, I got ultimately what I was desiring.
Absolutely, Ellie. And I can attest to that and add to it just for this. You know, it was funny, everybody. We were when this whole thing started, which was actually only a few weeks ago. It was started from my nephew, your son, going. He needed an interview from me, his uncle Mike, about something. So it was like we were talking. But before that, prior, the crazy thing was, I my birthday was March 31st, and I was like, you know what? I've always wanted to do it, and I felt inspired. I was just going to start my own podcast on my own, and I was excited. But there are certain aspects of a podcast, the background stuff that I have to take care of, that I didn't feel like doing,
Hmm.
but I was willing to do it just because I knew this is what I dreamed to do. That
Hmm.
gave me excitement.
Hmm.
Now, the universe works an interview with my nephew, just like, okay, for schoolwork. You and I start talking. Fast forward to right now, we're running a podcast. The interview never did get done, by the way, for him. So I hope he got an A on it.
Actually, you know what? The interview never did get done, but that is a perfect reflection on it. Nathan had an assignment. I called Mike up, asked, "Hey, can you be the one to interview my son?" We started talking and said, "Let's do a podcast." And we said, "Let's just do it." Next day, here we are.
Well, actually, El didn't start out with a YouTube channel, and then we said, "Why don't we do a podcast?" Guys, it's just how you're learning what you always desired. Sometimes you think you know what you want, and you do, but you forget that you have all this awesome stuff, as I love Abraham says, in escrow, packed up, stacked up for you.
I
All
like that.
escrow, just stacked. And you're sitting there. I'm so excited right now. I was talking about, we were like just rolling from one thing. We started the YouTube channel. That lasted probably a day or two. And then because Ellie, fast forward, Ellie's like, hey, let's do a podcast. Looked into that. Next thing. And to me, I thought my highlight would be me doing something. And now doing this with you is 10 times more than I could have ever consciously imagined it would be. So,
and yes.
Isn't it awesome?
Yes. And that is just how things manifest 10 times more beautiful than you could have ever envisioned.
Absolutely. What my sky, as somebody else says, Bashar, the sky to my conscious mind is the ground floor to the subconscious. What I was imagining. Whoa!
I like that. I think that deserves a shots fired.
Shots fired! Where we in
That
Philly?
was really
We're back
good.
in Philly?
I know, right? My bad, Mike. I'm sorry.
We do hand claps now. I'm like,
Scared you for a second there. I love how he said that. That was really, really beautiful because we're limited to what it is that we believe that we think that we desire.
Yes. And I think the big thing is learning to flow. So many people, like for instance, if I say Bruce Lee, where am I going with this? You don't have to be in the martial arts. You could be in the handcraft sewing. You could be in flying planes. Everybody knows who Bruce Lee is. Mm-hmm. It wasn't because Bruce Lee went out to be the most famous person. He was following his passion. And from this, he lives on forever. Transfers over to what we're doing. We're not doing this to get somewhere. We're not doing this to get people to listen. I do this no matter what because this is my passion. Because we're doing that, there will be reflection of physical evidence to support our passion. Example, people and money and homes and all the stuff. That's just the middle stuff that fills in because you're following your passion. So follow your passion. And
follow your passion. And you said something about something else too about the ego. So is the ego getting in the way when you put a desire out there and all this quote unquote contrast is coming in, and when you have a preconceived notion, preconceived path on how to get there, we stop the momentum of it coming through because we said, no, this is not how it's supposed to happen. In fact, I don't even see how this is bringing to me what it is I desire. We get in the way. We get in the way.
Yes, we do. So often. And Elle, you just put it so awesome. It's like, the funny thing is, when you start to, why do you need to understand how the universe works? It's because when you do, you start to recognize the signs of something to stop the momentum before it picks up speed. If you recognize it's your ego, even if you don't want to admit it and you want to win that argument so bad, at least you know it's your ego. And you can stop an argument before it goes further. Or you can stop this, I've got to be right. Or you can stop this, well, I don't want to look stupid in front of somebody, so I'm going to follow through with this, even though I know it's not the best thing. If you recognize that everything happened for you, you stop doing those things that hurt you ultimately, just for the sake of looking good at the moment, hurting yourself long term, just for that short moment of, I'm the man. I was right, believe me. It feels good to be right, especially some people. But you're hurting yourself if you go and take that path. And but it all comes down to recognizing the signs. So and understanding how the universe works. And when you understand how it works, your ego takes a backseat because you're taking the faster, the best path to get to where you need to go.
Yes, the easiest path to get there. And what it feels like in that moment, because a lot of times when you're outside of it, it's easier to reflect back on it and give insight and say, oh, okay, I'm equipped. But the moment it all comes, crumbling in, you can panic. And so getting out in front of it is what we're doing right now. What you're doing right now is listening in. When you're in the moment, it's following your highest joy. And I go back to something that would be considered traumatic, again, pulling in the divorce, is following your highest joy. Is in that moment, what went through my head is, I can't afford this mortgage payment. These children, how are they going to grow up without a father? How am I going to afford to put food on the table, a roof over my head? But I followed my highest joy, and my highest joy was, I'm ready for a divorce, and for someone, and for me to love me, not someone to love me. I'm ready to love me. I got to take a step in to love me. And when I did that,